So school's about to start in less than a month, and this is going to be the year where you completely transform yourself. You're going to build better habits, you're going to get better grades, socialize with more people, unless of course you don't want that. You're going to get 8 hours of sleep every single day, and overall you're just going to become a much better person and a student as well. So in this video, I'll share 5 different things that you need to keep in mind before you go back to school so that you can maximize your academics and your productivity as well. Starting off with tip number 1, time management is everything. I really don't think that I need to elaborate on this more because time is the biggest asset that we have as students. We can't end up like last year doom scrolling on Instagram Reels or TikToks, or if you're weird, YouTube Shorts. So we're going to take an active approach this year to make sure that that does not happen. Basically, last year we only used to study when we felt like it. We relied completely on motivation. This year it's going to be a bit different. This year you're going to be in charge of your time and not the other way around. And you're going to be doing something called time blocking. Essentially, go on Google Calendar right now and block off time where you know that you're going to be busy for sure. For example, if you have something like a meeting or like an assignment to do or just study in general, block that time out. What that is going to allow you to do is basically if something else comes up on that time, or if your friends tell you to, let's go hang out, you're going to say no because you've already blocked out that time, and that time is going to be for only whatever you've written it. Once you've done time blocking for the whole week, you can go ahead and adjust other things into your schedule. For example, if you want to play games, you can do that anytime apart from the time where you've blocked it out. Basically, I'm telling you to put non-negotiable tasks on your calendar to be booked out, so nothing else can disrupt them at that time. Once you've done that, you can add any other activities that you want to do throughout the whole day, just not in that specific time that you've blocked out. Studying 1 hour a day after you come back from school is going to be extremely important for you, and it's not like 1 hour is a lot either. Let's say you come back from school at 4 maybe and you sleep at 11. You have 7 hours to fit in that 1 hour anytime that you want. 1 hour of studying is not a lot, and it is so easily achievable. As long as you stay consistent with that 1 hour every single day, trust me, your A-level grades will skyrocket. Now moving on to tip number 2 that you should keep in mind before going back to school, it is to be organized. Being organized is very, very, very important because if you're not keeping track of your progress, keeping all of your resources in one place, then, finding all of the stuff that you've kept is going to be a big hassle and a big waste of time for you. So my tip to you, start using Notion. I've been using Notion for pretty much everything that I do over the course of, the last 5 years. I use it to track my progress in academics, or whether that be in, YouTube, content creation, which is YouTube, or even my LinkedIn posts. Speaking of LinkedIn, by the way, if you're a student, especially if you're in year 13, LinkedIn is going to help you a lot in the long term. I might make a future video soon about why LinkedIn is so important for students, but for now, if you do have an account, go ahead and follow me there for more insights. Anyways, back to Notion now, and I don't want to go into a lot of detail with Notion because the video will become quite long, frankly. But I did make a video a couple of days ago about the best websites for A-level students. In that, I do talk about Notion in quite a bit of detail. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, click over here right now and you can learn more about Notion. And this is not sponsored, by the way. I just love Notion and it is completely free to use. Now, moving on from Notion, let's go to tip number 3, which is removing distractions. One of the biggest reasons that we're not able to achieve what we want is because we're so lazy. Anytime we're met with any form of stress, or especially academic stress, we start scrolling on Instagram Reels or TikTok. And we use it as a form of defense mechanism because we're too scared to face reality. So instead, we use our phone and get into it. When I first heard the concept of that, students use scrolling as a form of defense mechanism, I was quite skeptical and I was like, that has to be BS. But the more I look into it and the more I saw myself doing it as well when I was, in May when my exams were going on, I found myself reaching for Instagram Reels a lot more than I normally do when I have no stress. So that was kind of a weird realization. This is probably one of the biggest distractions that you're going to come across. And the only way that you can defeat it is to either, completely delete it and get rid of it. Or because I know that if you delete immediately, then you might, end up downloading it again because you feel that emptiness of not being able to scroll. So instead of doing that, you can add a time limit. So if you're using Instagram Reels for 1 hour a day, make the time limit 45 minutes and then every single week decrease about 15 minutes until that you find yourself not scrolling at all. So get rid of distractions from your phone and from your desk as well, because when you're studying, you want there to be nothing else other than what you need to be studying. So for example, if I'm studying on my desk, I should not have my phone with me because there is a high chance that I will be distracted by it. So keep your phone in another room or throw it across the room or give it to your parents, whatever you want to do that. And make sure your desk is clean as well, because the cleaner your desk is, the more organized you are, the more, it help with discipline as well. So make sure when you're studying, the only things that you have on your desk is stuff that you need to be studying with. Other than that, remove any distractions that you have. The more you minimize distractions, the better result that you'll see in the long term. Now, let's move on to the next point, or tip number 4, which is learn how to study. Let me be honest with you. Last year, before I started, this YouTube channel, I knew nothing about how to study. I knew nothing about active recall, spaced repetition, none of that. And I got a pretty horrible result in my year 12. So, I looked at it and I was like, something needs to change. So I went and I started doing a bit of research about what I did wrong. And then I came across all of this stuff called active recall, spaced repetition, which is also why I started this YouTube channel as well, to help other students. I realized after my result that the way I was studying was so ineffective. I used to sit down and note take for 8 hours straight. So I realized that if I'm doing something for 8 hours and it's not giving me the result that I want, I'm clearly doing something wrong. And then that kind of triggered a switch in me, which was like, you have to study less but study more effectively. When it comes to studying, it's not about how long you can study, it's about how you study, the methods that you use to study, because they are 10 times more important than the duration of your study session. So my advice to you would be to go ahead and search, do a bit of research about what study techniques are there, how do I manage my time, and all of this stuff, especially on the study techniques, because different study techniques may be better for different people. So see what works for you. So try them out, see what works for you, and most importantly, stick to them. You can't just test something for 1 week and if it doesn't give you a result, you move on. You have to test them for long periods of time. I made a couple of videos on, the best study techniques that are out there, which are, active recall and spaced repetition. So if you want to check them out, you can do so with the link in the description below. I go into a lot of detail in them about how active recall works, how spaced repetition works, and I use scientific evidence that backs whatever I'm saying at the end of the video. So make sure you go ahead and check them out. Another thing that I completely forgot to mention are past papers. Past papers are so essential when you're in A-Levels, because you could learn the content, but when you go and do questions, they're completely different. So the only way that you can understand the pattern of the paper, or like how the structure of the questions is by doing past papers. So the more past papers that you do, the more you'll make progress, and the more you'll learn along the way. The last and final tip that I have for you is to take care of your physical and your mental health. For mental health, when it comes to A-Levels, they are pretty bad. There's, even though it might seem less 3 subjects or 4 subjects, the content in them, the difficulty of the questions, it gets kind of overwhelming. So in that moment, you need to make sure that you have a hobby that you can turn back to when things get stressful and you want a bit of time to yourself. And that hobby could be anything. For me, it's recording YouTube videos, editing YouTube videos, and all of that. That is my hobby. For you, it might be playing video games. For other people, it might be different stuff, reading books, whatever it may be, whatever you enjoy, go do that, because when it comes to A-Levels, it is important that you keep yourself sane. So if you're a student right now going into A-Levels, make sure that you have a physical hobby, and gym would be the most ideal one, because not everyone plays sports, but everyone can go to the gym, or at least, even if you don't have the facilities to go to the gym, you can do home workouts, you can do calisthenics, or whatever you want to do. There are a ton of researches that show that, working out in whatever way it is really beneficial to your mental health as well. If last year was not your year, trust me, this year is going to be, because you're going to learn from your mistakes. One thing that you might want to do is take out a pen and paper, sit down and list all the mistakes that you made last year in year 12, or if you were doing GCSEs, whatever year you went through last year, sit down and write all of the mistakes that you made, and one by one try to come up with a solution to improve whatever that may be. That will take you way further than watching my videos or any video, because self-reflection is extremely important. And I'm going to repeat the same thing that I always say. Consistency is what is important when it comes to studying. I could study 8 hours every single day effectively, but if I stop studying, if I study for a week and I don't study the next week, I'm going to forget whatever I've learned. So there's no really point. Even if you're studying 1 hour a day, just stay consistent over the course of, however many months A-level is for, I think 8 or 9. You should be fine. 1 hour a day is so easy to pull off. As long as you're studying 1 hour a day, you should be completely fine for A-Levels. If you found this video valuable and you enjoyed it, please go ahead and leave a like. You can also subscribe to the channel down below as well. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, so please subscribe. You can check 2 of these videos out, and I'm trying to upload twice a week now, so yeah, hopefully I stick consistent to that as well. I'll see you with another video very soon. Take care and goodbye.